He's also executive producer of the documentary. Lue, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I just got to ask you first about what I was talking to Dan Farr about. Two different alien species. Can you tell me anything about them?
Well, what you're referring to was the alleged potential landing of Holloman Air Force Base back in the 1950s, where a vehicle, a craft of unknown origin, had landed at the edge of the airfield and initiated contact with individuals from both the Central Intelligence Agency and the United States Air Force. And if that's the case, think of what the consequences of that, right? That means that somewhere someone had maybe perhaps pre-coordinated or arranged or was aware of this potential landing, enough so that individuals on the base were actually alerted and prepared for and waiting for these craft, right? So that kind of gives you an idea that perhaps there was some sort of dialogue or some sort of communication, perhaps even before that event took place.
That was not something that you have firsthand knowledge about. You weren't there. What do you have firsthand knowge about?
Well, boy, how much time do you have, Elizabeth?
We've got about 7 minutes.
Okay, so as you may know, I ran the government's program at the Pentagon roughly from around 2010 called ATIP to about 2017 when I resigned in protest.
ATIP is the program that is in charge of studying alien spacecraft and reverse engineering, right?
Correct. Despite, well, not exactly. It was the Pentagon's investigation into UFOs, or what we now call UAP. And it was replaced later by an organization that was called the UAP Task Force, which, by the way, one of those individuals, the leader of that, was also in our documentary. He's also an executive producer, Jay Stratton. And then later on, Arrow replaced that organization. So there's been a lot of people are surprised to learn that the Pentagon, A, studied UFOs, but B, continues to study UFOs and has for a very, very long time.
We know from the documentary that they're not just studying UFOs. You say we're trying to reverse engineer from the spacecraft that we have found, use that technology, and that we're in a secret sort of arms race with Russia and China, who both also have alien spaceships. The documentary reports that the Soviets found a big one back in 1989. Do we know when the Chinese found one, and how do we know that anyway?
Sure. Well, let me give you some more compelling information here, perhaps, that you may not be aware of. Just recently, there was another hearing on the Hill under oath, and one of the individuals to testify under oath was a journalist named George Knapp. George Knapp testified that back in the early 90s, right when the Berlin Wall came down, there was this brief period of cooperation between former Soviet Union and the United States, and he received a handful of very classified documents from Russian generals about their UFO program and the reverse engineering program, and he actually successfully smuggled them out of Russia and brought them here to the United States. So there's a lot of information suggesting that both Russia and other adversaries have their own UAP program. And in fact, China has already admitted it publicly in a newspaper that they have their own UFO program and have been petitioning the United Nations in order to help lead a worldwide investigation. Now, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with China necessarily doing that, but it shows the level of eagerness that some of our adversaries are displaying towards this topic of UAP. Remember, this is a topic that for a long time was really fraught with stigma and taboo. And I think only now we're beginning to get to the point where within the American psyche, we can actually have a serious conversation and not think about, little green men or Elvis on the mothership or tinfoil hats.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below.